Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to another video by yours truly. This is going to be Gacha Smack's tier list. Now, before we get into it, we gotta address a few things, because as you all may know, some people in this community validate their self-worth based off of purely subjective tier lists. And to those people, I must say, you're going to get offended because your character isn't in a spot you wanted them to be in. I need you to grow the fuck up and stop being a beta male. We all know that women aren't the ones that are complaining about these things. They could give a fuck less. Usually the little bitch boys who never leave their house, who need to start doing things with their life so that they can recognize this shit ain't that serious. So I suggest to you, first, go get in shape if you aren't already in shape. Second, start providing value to people other than yourself, because chances are you're probably narcissistic. Thirdly, I suggest that you go and get yourself a cute partner and get yourself some. I guarantee you, if you do all of these things, you will come back to this tier list video and recognize that this shit ain't that serious. Okay? Now, that message wasn't for everyone, but if the shoe fits, then wear that motherfucker 7 days a week. Let's go ahead and get into it. All right, so before we get into it, the way I do my tier list is we have the divine tier, which this is going to be the broken units, the units that are just completely dominating the meta. And then we have the S tier, the units that are absolutely phenomenal, and they're just a notch under the units that are just dominating the meta. And then we have A tier. This is going to be the mid tier, right? They're doing very good in their niche scenarios. They perform well, but they aren't the best damn thing since sliced bread. B, they are underperforming. C, they are absolute dog shit. And then there's this category. This is going to be the category for characters I have not taken up to 80 or spent too much time with. So because of that, they're going to go in that category because I don't know where to put them. With that being said, let's get into it. Starting off with Serval. I'm going to go ahead and tell you right now, I think she's mid. I think she's a great character. I think if you build her up, she will definitely provide value to your account. But that said, if you make her like a dedicated character of yours, you're going to have some challenges against the hardest content in the game. You'll be able to clear it, but not easily. So for that matter, I think Serval belongs in the A tier. Silver Wolf, you already know. Divine tier, absolutely. She's still debatably the most disgusting unit in the entire game. She provides the most universal value to your account more than any other character. She doesn't just do that either. She's also the most broken debuffer in the game as well. Even the fact that she's single target is considered a weakness. It's not considered a weakness since the upper floors of the MOC generally boil down to 2 remaining elite units, or 1 at most cases. So because of this, Silver Wolf is just invaluable. Not to mention, she can also deal DPS in addition to debuffing them and providing that element. You know it, I know it, we all know it. She is very deserving of the divine tier. Loucha, the absolute best healer in the entire game. Why? Because ideally, if you're playing Loucha right, you will never, ever, ever have to use his skill. He will heal your entire team while also giving you skill points that you can utilize with your main DPS. He also has a cleanse that can be applied without him even using the skill. And then the guy also is very energy recharge efficient. The guy can also deal damage. If you min-max him, he'll be able to even contribute to overall damage. He's just universally synergistic. He does it all. And right now, nobody else is doing that job better. You have to have that 4th slot as a healer or some type of sustainer. And right now, nobody's doing that job better. So for that matter, he belongs in the divine tier. Moving on to Asta. I believe she is very deserving of the S tier. She is a free-to-play god unit that provides numerous amounts of value to multiple team compositions. And she even provides value to compositions outside of fire weakness. She can still give you a speed boost, allow people to go multiple times. She can give a perma uptime attack % boost with more eidolons unlocked. She is literally one of the best in the game for dot composition. She's the best in the game for fire compositions, and she's still one of the best in the game for scenarios that don't include either one of those. So for that matter, I think she belongs in the S tier. She is a god tier harmony unit. Blade, divine tier, 100%. This guy not only has the best survivability out of all main DPSs, he has the best skill point efficiency out of all DPSs, and the least expensive utility out of all DPSs. You really don't need anybody with Blade. You can just slap him on any team and the man will provide value. And I do mean any team, even dot teams. You can throw him in there. He's going to manage to somehow provide value to the dot team. So that is what separates him from all the other DPS for me personally. Not to mention his AoE is literally top fucking shelf. It's top tequila, the Rock's tequila. His single target DPS is just a little bit under the best single target DPSs in the game. And that E1, even that problem gets solved as well because his ult gets much more stronger. He does it all. The guy is absolutely phenomenal, and he ages with fine wine as the characters continue to release and more new characters come out. But yeah, he's in the divine tier. Tingyun, also in the divine tier. This is the 6-star unit of Honkai Star Rail. She is absolutely fucking god tier. I cannot think of a single composition that she does not provide value to. Every single character that comes out gains benefit from having Tingyun on the team. She is literally a hit and 5-star unit. It's insane. If you guys are wondering, if you want me to provide actual details, attack boost, she has it. Energy recharge uniquely belongs to her. Damage bonus, she has it. Speed boost, she has it. Benediction, 20% speed boost given to somebody upon casting their ultimate. This girl is absolutely insane. Dealing damage, she can literally deal up to 15 to 16, 17,000 damage once you fully mid-max her. I'm telling you, she's an absolute machine of a character, and picking her up and building her up on your account will never, ever, ever do you wrong. Geppard, S tier. His shield is just obviously top notch right now. Nobody else is outperforming him in terms of providing a shield to the team composition. He is very niche though in that regard, but if you're lacking sustainers and you pick up a Geppard, absolute invaluable asset to your account. Not to mention he has crowd control. Once you take care of his speed issue, he pretty much can keep shields up on your team permanent with the energy recharge. As more characters release that are probably going to be reliant on shields, I think Geppard's value will actually ironically rise up as opposed to going down like most of the other units who are already out, like, you know, the original OG units. Anyways, moving on to the next. Ooh, now we got a spicy character here. This might take 10 minutes. All right, so everybody always, you hear this all the time in the community. Oh, Seele is still the best DPS in the game. Is anybody gonna come along that can out DPS her? Like, where did they get this from? I'm always curious about this because I haven't seen a single showcase on YouTube where Seele has similar investment to Blade and or Kafka, and she outperforms them. They just pull this shit out of their ass, or they pull it out of a spreadsheet without actually trying it in practicality. But let me go ahead and provide the factuals here. She's way more skill point hungry than Blade, way squishier, does less AoE, barely does better single target damage. She also needs a much more utility than Blade. Blade doesn't need anybody. You can put him on any team, the man's gonna pop off without actually interrupting their skill point value. Not to mention, Seele also has to have her resurgence proc in order for her to really deal her damage. And there are many scenarios where you're not proccing that resurgence. And if you don't one-shot the boss, guess what? Damage goes down the drain even further. When you take all of these variables into consideration, there is no way on God's green earth that I am putting her in front of Blade. Now, I will say, she absolutely is deserving to be in the divine tier. She does dominate the meta. She is performing at the highest level, but she ain't performing better than Blade, and she ain't performing better than Kafka. And yeah, that's just my take on that matter. Also, the last thing I would like to supply as an argument is every single showcase I've ever seen of Seele where she's actually popping off, they have her signature light cone, they have her E1 unlocked, they have a Bronya and a Tingyun. Like they have the most expensive composition. But when you apply that same thing to anybody else, oh, that's expensive, it's too expensive. Oh, double standard shit if I ever seen it. All right, we're not gonna go too hard on it, but that's just my opinion. She belongs up here. She is a great unit, I will say that. Now, I guess we'll do Fire Trailblazer. Fire Trailblazer, I think, is probably going to be right here. Very good in the beginning, starts to fall off as more characters release, and will continue to fall off as more characters release. Physical Trailblazer, I can see him providing some value, but he's probably going to be right here. But as of now, Fire Trailblazer for me is he's mid. Jing Yuan, or Mid Yuan is what they call him. Yeah, my boy's at the top of S tier. He's not performing as well as Seele, Blade, or Kafka, but he is a tremendous DPS unit, and if you build him up, he will clear all content in the game, no fucking problem. And for that matter, he's right underneath them. I think that's probably the most fair spot I can put him for now. I will be very interested in how he performs once he gets Xuan, because she's going to be a game changer to his kit in many ways. But for that being said, I don't think Jing Yuan belongs in the divine tier. He could potentially, but for now, we're putting him at the top of S tier. All right, moving on. Natasha, especially after Lynx. I'm sorry, Natasha, you're coming down here. You are, it stings. Lynx is doing everything that Natasha does. Probably won't be as good of a healer. Might be a less potent. I mean, this is just discussion. But everything else is just infinitely better. Has a cleanse for the whole entire party, which is absolutely nuts. And does heal the entire party. And it might be the same on par with Natasha. Who knows? We'll find out there. But just those two variables alone just puts her. She got hoed, man. I think she got shafted. Somebody made a very reasonable argument in my comment section saying that she's a doctor, for crying out loud. How are they gonna like butcher her and allow somebody else to heal better than her when she is literally, her job is to save lives? She should have been bringing people back, and she should have had a AoE cleanse and all that. It was a very solid argument, but at the end of the day, it is what it is. You know what I mean? Kafka. Yeah, I honestly don't know where to put her with regards to these two. I don't know if she's in front of Blade or behind Blade. What I can say is we apply the same thing. Way more skill point hungry. Survivability is way less. She needs her utility to really pop off. She needs her if you're doing hyper buff Kafka, she needs both Tingyun and Asta, or both Tingyun and Bronya. And if you're running the dot composition, she needs her dot characters that are going to match the element. So very expensive unit, but when you get those units into play, she really starts to pop off. Not to mention her versatility. As more units come out that are dot oriented, she will get better. I think you could debatably put her in front of Blade. I think it's a semantical argument at that point, but for me personally, I'm still going to put her behind Blade, just based off of everything I just mentioned to you guys. Now, Yukong, mid. I'm not going to lie to you. Very expensive, very speed tune induced, very high knowledge character, and even then you have to like use her wisely. But when you get her eidolons, she is an absolute monstrous unit within inside of her niche, the imaginary element, and she becomes more useful to other characters too. But the fact of the matter is, she is clunky, truth be told. She really is. But she's still a great unit. I want that to be known. But because of all these freaking issues she has, she belongs in the A tier, the mid tier. Moving on, Clara. I will say this as many times as I don't own her, nor have I played her. I do know about her kit, but not enough to confidently place her up here, so not enough info. Yanqing. Yanqing is a phenomenal ice DPS unit. I'm gonna put him right here. I will admit, they've been honing him in the Memory of Chaos upper floor levels. I haven't been seeing a lot of ice weaknesses, and it like almost convinces me that he should be in the A tier. But that's just them honing the ice element. When the ice element pops up, this dude becomes a monster. And he's still a very strong DPS, but his value is slowly coming down. We'll see what happens when Jing Liu comes out. As things stand now, though, he's still a very, very powerful single target DPS. But the thing is, if he's not going up against the ice element, you're running into a lot of issues. He's still the best, one of the best, actually the best ice element character in the game. But there's people like Blade you can use outside of the wind element, right? There's people like Kafka you can use outside of the lightning element because she can just re-trigger other dots. Quantum, you have Silver Wolf, she can literally manipulate that shit. But Yanqing, because he's only really good at single target, whereas everybody else can deal AoE, that's really where his downfall is the fact that he literally can only hit one target ever, and that's it. Whereas Seele, she's so damn fast, she can go multiple times. Yeah, that's my thoughts on him. We'll put her right next to this, put them down here. Lynx, yeah, I'm gonna be honest with you, she isn't out yet, but if I had to guess, she might be up here. And again, this is just a theory, but the team-wide cleanse coupled with the heal, and she's a quantum unit, which is actually very valuable. Yeah, I'm gonna think she's gonna be at the bottom of S tier. We'll see what happens. Pela, S tier as well. I'm gonna put her right here. Yeah, she's gonna be right here. I don't know where I'll put her, like in front of Asta or behind Asta. What I do know is that she's also a god tier, one of the best 4-stars in the entire game. Her team-wide defensive debuff is just insane, and if you really mid-max Pela to the brim, her auto attacks pop off as well, especially if you have her at E6. Dan Heng got power crept to hell. It's unfortunate. Now, that being said, he's still a tremendous DPS, better than Serval for sure, but he got power crept to hell by Blade and many other DPS. It's unfortunate, right? A 4-star DPS, but it doesn't matter because we have Imbiber Lune coming out. He's still a tremendous DPS though. If you're somebody who's like coming into the game and you don't have any of these characters, you build up Dan Heng, he's gonna pop off. Luka, honestly, I want to put Luka at the bottom of S tier just because of how absurd break effect Luka is. His damage is higher than some main DPSs when he breaks a shield and gets it re-triggered by Kafka. But he is niche and he does only perform truly well against the physical weakness. And if he's not doing that, he falls off pretty hard. So for that matter, I'm going to put him right here. The reason he's in front of these two is because they got power crept to hell. Luka still does his job debatably the best out of everyone else within the dot composition, so I think he belongs at the top of A tier for that matter. He also can perform outside of dot compositions. They just have to be weak to the physical element, and if they are, this dude's an absolute monster. You don't even need a lot of idle, you need no eidolons. I already proved that to you guys. So yeah, I think he's at the top of A tier. He's a very fucking good unit and probably slept on. Xuan, I think Xuan is going to be right here when she comes out. Her ability to provide a team-wide crit rate boost, a team-wide HP boost, a factor that I cannot mention. I think she's going to be a sustainer that can also DPS, which is invaluable since everybody else is usually dealing damage as well. She's also synergistic with Silverwolf, which is she's a quantum character. And then one thing that slept on is her preservation is going to make her have high taunt value, so she'll get hit, but then she has the ability to have the team share damage, which is like the destruction path buff in the simulated universe. So this will make characters like Tingyun much more tankier and increase their survivability. The people who are getting hit all the time, they'll be able to tank that damage thanks to her. She can also heal, which is crazy. I'm just gonna tell you, she's gonna be at the top of the meta. I'm calling that now. You can come back to this video when she releases. If nothing gets changed in her kit, she is 100% going to be at the top of the meta. And it's because she's a sustainer that can do a number of things. It's insane. She's also increasing the value of many characters just because of her kit. It's because she's in the sustain role doing things that support units do and contributing to damage. She's like literally doing it all. So if she can do the job of Loucha, which is sustain, and she can cleanse, if she's able to cleanse, that's going to be fucking nuts. And then she's providing crit rate, and then she's I'll tell you, it's going to be nuts. I'm going to say that right now. That character, her value in terms of meta is absolutely absurd. And now we got Imbiber Lune. Imbiber Lune is going, in my personal opinion, now I'll be honest with you, I haven't actually calculated his numbers yet. I haven't. So this is purely gut feeling. I have looked at his multipliers, which I cannot discuss because that is leaked territory. He's looking to be, and they keep doing this, I swear. Kafka came, Blake came, it's like they keep making the main DPS stronger and stronger. And I feel like they really are doing a power creep model. I don't know, I could be wrong. Imbiber Lune is looking to be stronger than every DPS before him. He's looking. And the reason being is because his basic attack multiplier is absurdly high. It is absurdly high. I had to say that twice. It's so damn high. And not only is it that, if we can find a way around his skill point greediness, which you can, there's definitely a number of ways that you can, plus the going twice up against the MOC allows you to set yourself up for skill point efficiency going into the next cycle. This man is a nuke bomb waiting to happen. I think he's going to be the new best DPS in the game. We'll see what happens. But the thing about him is he's an imaginary unit. So he's only going to be the best DPS in the game against people who are weak to the imaginary element. But then again, you could run a mono imaginary team with Silverwolf, and now everybody's going to be weak to the imaginary element for the most part. There are some scenarios where if they're not weak to quantum, then Silverwolf is going to have a 50-50 chance, right? So there's that. But this guy, I'm going to go ahead and tell you, he's probably going to be up here. Now, with that being said, I did tell y'all he's an easy skip because you don't need the best DPS in the game. No matter what these nerds try to tell you, the fact of the matter is, if you have a Blade and a Kafka, you don't need him. You only want him. The collectors want him, right? The budget players want him. The people who can afford him want him. But you do not need another main DPS if you have Seele, Kafka, Blade, Jing Yuan. Like if you have all these other DPSs, you don't need this guy. That being said, I think he's going to be the best DPS in the game. Now I know I keep saying that because I said Kafka, then I said Blade. No, I didn't say Blade was actually, but I did say Kafka, and now I'm saying him. His multipliers just look that crazy. We'll see what happens. Maybe I'm wrong. Bronya. Bronya is going to be right here. I'm sorry, I got to change some things. Tingyun is in front of all of those DPSs. I will always put Harmony support units that are broken as these two in front of these units, because without these types of units, these units are nothing, right? That's just what it is. So they're higher in value of these units right here. But then again, you can make that same argument vice versa with them. But I love these two. Their value is so high that I think they are in front of these units right here. Now, and the reason I guess I can go back on that, these can be used with any of these units. You cannot use any of these units with anybody else, right? They have their particular compositions outside of Blade. They have the particular compositions to make them viable. Anyways, I actually think Tingyun's in front of Bronya. That's a hot take, right? The reason I do is because she's more universally synergistic, easier to acquire. Bronya doesn't work with every composition. I think Bronya is going to be dog shit with Imbiber Lune. Bronya is also not that good with Jing Yuan. There's some scenarios where her skill point greediness proves to be a problematic. Whereas with Tingyun, they're on any team, she's popping off. It doesn't matter. So that's why I think Tingyun's higher than Bronya. Again, hot take. Yeah, we're going to put her at the bottom of A tier. At the bottom of A tier. She performs very well, and I think she is a slept on unit that people don't realize. Once you build her up, she performs well in her niche. But that being said, she's mid, right? She belongs in the mid tier, no doubt about it. Sushang, more units are coming out, and Sushang is starting to lose a little bit of value, but I still place her. It's a semantical argument. You can put her in front of Luka or behind Luka. I don't know. That's up to you. But she belongs in this tier for sure. Okay, Qingque. She is going to be bottom of S tier for me with higher at E4 or higher. She is a monster. She really is. A little bit of RNG, a little bit of grind to get those perfect rolls, but yeah. People don't believe that Qingque is a very fucking strong unit because they haven't built her up. But you build her up and you'll come to find out she slaps. Welt, one of the most hard units to acquire. A lot of people don't have Welt, so they don't know about his value. You could debatably put him in front of Jing Yuan because not only is he capable of main DPSing, he's capable of being a great support DPS on certain team compositions. He can also perma slow every cycle. Not perma slow, but his debuff technique can be applied to every single cycle. Those who know, he slows down every single cycle. You clear wave, the next wave comes in, they're slowed as well. That shit is absolutely disgusting and allows you to set up all your composition combos, which is invaluable. My fucking nose is itching. I don't know why I'm itching so much. But Welt can main DPS, he can debuff, and he ages with fine wine with his Eidolons. You unlock his Eidolons, he becomes even more of a monster. So I think he's at the top of S tier. Sampo got a huge buff with Kafka, right? He's right next to Luka. Easily one of the best characters. Both of them are tremendous with Kafka, right? But outside of Kafka, Luka still is solid, but Sampo's value goes down big time. So for that matter, he's still going to be right here in the mid tier. March 7th, I've already told y'all, as more characters are coming out, her value's going down. Yes, she's amazing with Clara and Yanqing, but you get other units and she just gets pushed to the back. So I'm gonna put March 7th at the back of A tier. Hook, not enough information, so I'm not gonna value her. Himeko, not enough information, but my gut tells you if you build up Himeko, she's probably gonna be somewhere, she'd probably be right here. My gut tells me she would be right there, but I don't have enough information on her, so I'll put her right there. Bailu, with Lynx and Xuan around the corner, man, Bailu she's falling off, man. I'm not gonna lie to you. She's falling off quite hard. I'll put her, she's definitely more valuable than them because she's a sustainer, but not having a cleanse, in order for her to actually heal your team optimally, you have to use her skill. So she's actually more skill point hungry than, you know, obviously Loucha and Xuan and Lynx. So I'm going to put her right here. Actually, they're probably going to be about the same skill uses, but she doesn't have a cleanse. Now, bringing people back to life is valuable. But again, Bailu's mid, guys. I'm sorry, but it's the truth. She's a little mid. But if you don't have anybody else, she's not mid. She's a divine tier if you ain't got nobody else. Arlan, again, I haven't built him up to level 80, so I cannot place him on this tier list. Yeah, and then with that being said, that's it. That's all. That's everyone. That is Gacha Smacks tier list. Comment down below. Let me know your thoughts. I look forward to all the soy boys who are mad because their characters aren't in spots they should be in. But this is, yeah, I'm not gonna lie. I think this is pretty based. Thanks for watching, guys. As always, peace, love, and happiness, and I'll catch you on the flip side.